The Differential Diagnosis of Warm Diseases, authored by Qing Dynasty physician Wu Tang. Chapter 2 Upper Jiao Section, Section 59 Part 12 Theory of Nourishing Autumn Dryness and Overcoming Qi, 59. Based on the previous discussion of the theory of autumn dryness, it essentially addresses the issue of the return of dry qi, which signifies the state of qi. Because dryness belongs to the metal element and restrains wood, and wood is the offspring of the fire of Shao Yang, fire qi rises again, resulting in symptoms of dryness and heat. As stated in the Ling Shu, Bing and Ding represent the two yang aspects of the hand, and Chen represents the two yang aspects of the foot. Yang Ming itself signifies dryness. Ancient people said, dry qi transforms into fire, and the classics also say, under the influence of metal dryness, fire qi takes hold, both of which illustrate this point. It should be noted that in ancient medical texts, there was no mention of autumn dryness as an illness until recent times. It was only Yu Shi who first proposed the theory of dry qi, and his treatment method involved using mildly cold and sweet medicines. Yu Shi also had the theory of dry qi transforming into fire, and his treatment method involved using pungent and cool, as well as sweet and moist medicines. They both based their theories on the concept of excessive dryness from the Suwen, believing that after dry qi transforms into heaven, fire qi would gain the upper hand, thus requiring the use of pungent and cool, as well as sweet and bitter methods for treatment. I am merely inheriting the viewpoints of my predecessors, so I have provided a simple account of dryness patterns and the restoration of qi. The book has been completed, but I have always felt that it does not entirely align with the theory of excessive dryness in the Suwen. Therefore, I added a theory of dry qi in the miscellaneous section, providing detailed explanations of treatment methods involving rectification, counteraction, and overcoming qi. However, the situation of overcoming qi in dry diseases, especially in the context of the triple burners, has not been thoroughly explained, which is incomplete. I have been uneasy about this. Later on, I obtained Mr. Shen Munan's theory of warm diseases, which included an article about autumn dryness, discussing the major viewpoints. I have excerpted it below and provided a detailed explanation. Additionally, I have supplemented the treatment methods for overcoming qi in dry patterns. Reiterating the principles of overcoming qi and restoring qi, as well as the methods of rectification and counteraction, in modern times, there has been little in-depth research in this area, and commentators have not delved extensively into it either. For example, issues related to treating cold-induced qi dominance in Ma Gui Jianfu's treatment of Shonghan Lun, the methods of rectifying cold, and the primary disease of treating cold. In Baihu Cheng Qi, methods for restoring qi and treating cold, counteraction methods for treating cold, and diagnostic methods for treating cold are not extensively discussed. Similar reasoning can be applied to other climatic conditions. Shen Munan's viewpoint on dry diseases is as follows. In ancient times, the Qian Yuan Gda Lun mentioned, heaven follows a cycle of 6, while earth follows a cycle of 5. Here, the 6 refer to the 6 climatic seasons, such as wind, summer heat, dampness, dryness, fire, and so on, and the 5 refer to the 5 elements, namely wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Weather mainly affects the external environment, with a climate change occurring every 60 days, whereas the Earth's movements impact the internal environment, with a climate change every 72 days. As a result, the interplay between the 5 elements and the 6 climatic factors constitutes the annual climatic variations, which is a consistent pattern in nature. In the Nei Jing, it is mentioned that during late summer, the body is prone to damage from dampness, while in autumn, it is susceptible to harm from dry heat, leading to the occurrence of dry diseases. However, the essence of dry diseases is internal damage, characterized by symptoms of depleted body fluids and blood, rather than an external exposure to cold and cool seasons. Nevertheless, the onset of dry diseases occurs after the autumn equinox and before the minor snow season, which corresponds to the time of the dominance of Yang Ming's dry metal element and the prevalence of cool air. According to the text, when Yang Ming is dominant, clarity arises within, left-sided rib pain and loose stools, throat obstruction, external cold and chilling, splendid transformation of the complexion, and pests like caterpillars appear, discomfort in the chest, and throat obstruction. Based on this text, dry diseases are invariably associated with the influence of cold weather, with the liver being affected, leading to dry symptoms. In modern times, Jiao has presented a different perspective, describing dry diseases as a manifestation of internal injury, including symptoms like qi stagnation, weakness, wheezing, vomiting, and even the presence of white-colored blood. These symptoms indicate internal damage and distinguish dry diseases from externally acquired ones. He has proposed treatment methods for dry diseases involving the use of nourishing and cooling herbs, suitable for cases with excessive heat, metal-related issues, and lung qi overheating. However, it is essential to emphasize that dry diseases belong to the category of cold illnesses, often referred to as subcold. During treatment, the excessive use of overly cold medicines should be avoided as it can exacerbate the condition. Treatment should primarily focus on gentle and warming approaches, with the use of herbs like Ma Gui Jiangfu reserved for severe winter conditions. While treatment methods may vary, they all adhere to the principle of gentle and harmonizing approaches. In the Nei Jing, the 6 climatic factors are categorized into yin and yang, with wind, heat, and fire belonging to the yang category, requiring remedies with attributes like pungent and cooling, bitter and cold, or salty and cold. Dampness, dryness, and cold belong to the yin category, necessitating treatments with attributes like bitter and warm or sweet and warm. Zhongjing's separate discussions of Shonghan, cold-induced diseases, and Wenbing, warm diseases, were aimed at establishing clear treatment guidelines. In summary, dry diseases fall into the category of cold illnesses. Despite differing viewpoints, treatment should predominantly employ methods involving sweetness and warmth, without an excessive pursuit of coldness, as it can worsen the condition. During the cold and dry winter season, the human skin often becomes dry, which aligns with the dryness seen in late autumn. The human lungs are associated with the metal element, making them sensitive to dryness, and the skin can easily become dry as a result. During this time, the influence of the fire element is relatively weaker, so dryness should indeed be considered a cold condition rather than a hot one. This viewpoint, as presented by Mr. Author's name, is insightful and differs from popular beliefs, casting doubt on Yu's perspective of nourishing yin and employing cooling treatments for dry diseases. This approach may not seem suitable for conditions caused by excessive moisture and dampness, known as Chao Yin. However, it should be noted that dry diseases can be caused by both internal factors and external influences that transform residual pathogens into heat within the meridians. In a previous article, author's name mentioned the use of Xing Su San and San Ju Yin in cases under the Feng Wen Su Tiao category, which also involves the transformation of external influences within the meridians. This aligns with the treatment principles of the Qing Zhao Ju Fei Tang, but the latter places greater emphasis on addressing internal excessive moisture and dampness. Yu's perspective may not delve deeply into these aspects, as he considers dry diseases unrelated to external influences, which might be somewhat one-sided. Author's name believes that the treatment of dry diseases should be tailored to the specific situation and may require the use of medicines with different properties, all guided by the principle of gentle and harmonizing treatment. Regarding Zhongjing, he did indeed establish different treatment systems in his Shonghan Lan, Treatise on Cold Damage, and Wenbing Lan, Treatise on Warm Diseases. However, this does not imply that he did not consider other external factors leading to illnesses. In fact, Zhongjing's works do contain discussions on various external diseases such as warm diseases, damp diseases, and heat-related illnesses, although they are relatively fewer in number. Author's name believes that excessive reliance on Zhongjing's writings might lead to a narrow perspective and suggests a more comprehensive understanding of his medical ideology. Author's name argues that a thorough study of Zhongzhengjing's texts can be used not only to treat cold damage but also to address illnesses associated with the 6 climatic factors, because his works encompass the content of the 6 climatic factors, not limited to just cold damage. Note: 1. The Taiyang stage is fundamentally of a cold nature, but it transforms into a heat nature during the process of counteraction. This is because water nature restrains fire nature, so under mild stress, the Taiyang stage transforms into a heat nature. Therefore, heart diseases are quite common. In summary, it can be said that diseases fundamentally originate from the heart. When the heart's fire is affected by an illness, it will inevitably restrain the metal element. This is also the reason for the treatment of metal element diseases in the Baihu Cheng Qi, white tiger carries the qi. When the metal element is affected by illness, it becomes rigid and obstructs the pathways. Restoring qi represents the earth element, and the earth element's nature is obstruction, but it, in turn, restrains its own true element, thus carrying the qi represents expelling metal and earth, thereby treating the water element. Furthermore, diseases caused by invasions of cold should be treated with salty purgation. Commentators usually only interpret based on the text's definitions, so they have not delved into the principles and have not fully understood the treatment methods for cold damage. This is just one example, and it is hoped that through this example, the rest of the principles can be explained to better understand the Nei Jing. The viewpoints derived from these principles are also applicable to the 6 climatic factors. To be continued.